I know, florals for spring. Hi everyone, it's Tash and welcome to another Wednesday recipe video. And today we're going to be making Springerle. Timestamps are down below and in the description if you want to skip the initial blah blah. But stick around if you want to hear a little bit about what we're making first. Springerle are from Germany and technically they are for Christmas. But I wanted to see if I could make them using my mooncake moulds, and most of my mooncake moulds are very floral. So we're going to be doing them for spring. Traditionally the dough is rolled out, and then you have some moulds pressed into them, traditionally wood moulds, and then you cut around your indentations and then you let them dry and bake them. Instead of rolling the dough out with a rolling pin, I'm going to roll little balls up and pop them in a mooncake mould and squish them in the moulds. The point is you get a really pretty pattern on top. I'm going to give a little bit of a warning for this recipe. You are going to need to be patient. After you've rolled out and shaped your dough, you have to let them dry out for at least 12 hours minimum. I did mine for 19 hours. I made them around lunchtime on one day, and then the next morning I baked them. But for extra insurance, you should really be setting them for about 24 hours because this keeps the shape when you put them in the oven. Long story short, they create a dry shell, a lot like macarons. And just like macarons, because they form a hard shell, when you put them in the oven and the dough inside starts to expand, the shell keeps the shape and forces them to rise vertically and create a foot, because the only moist part of the dough left is on the bottom, which is in contact with the baking sheet. So that's the only bit left that has a little give for it to rise. And actually I find the texture of these cookies to be very similar to macarons too. They're dense, a little soft and chewy on the inside and crisp and crunchy on the outside. I've already broken the first traditional rule of rolling them out with a rolling pin. I'm going to break a second rule, because two traditional ingredients I'm not going to be using in this recipe are aniseed, because I do not like the taste of aniseed, and baker's ammonium, because it's a very niche ingredient and I'm probably not going to ever use it ever again if I buy it. And bog standard modern baking powder works just as well. In terms of flavouring, instead of aniseed, I'm going to be using cardamom and vanilla. I hear lemon also works very well. You can put cinnamon and other spices in it. It's totally up to you how you flavour them. And the last traditional rule I'm going to break is I'm not going to wet the bottoms. For these cookies, after you've done your overnight drying of them, what you're supposed to do before you bake them is wet a little bit of kitchen towel, and then you dab the bottoms of the cookie on them and place them back on the tray, and apparently that gives them a more even rise. Because you can't be sure if little dry patches on the bottom have formed, and that's going to create a bit of a lopsided rise. I'm simply going to be lazy and skip that step. I'm going to pop them straight in the oven after they've dried. And lastly, this part's completely optional, I'm going to paint my Springerle. After baking, I'm going to let them cool down completely, and I'm going to mix a little food colouring with a little bit of vodka, which is going to evaporate off fast after you paint them, and I'm going to have me a little bit of an artsy time. If you're doing these for Christmas, by the way, another tradition is to let them dry out even more after you've baked them for a few days, and then use them as Christmas tree ornaments. And apparently, up to a certain point, they taste better after a bit of maturing as well, probably because of the spices. We're just going to eat them fresh. So with all that said, let's go to the kitchen and see how it's done. We're going to start with 4 eggs, and these are medium-sized eggs because apparently in this case, size does matter. And we're going to give it a quick whiz. Now we're going to add 500 grams of icing sugar, which for me happens to be this entire bag. I'm going to be very careful because I don't want it to get everywhere. I'm going to add about a teaspoonful of vanilla extract, a teaspoonful of cardamom powder, and remember I'm using this instead of the traditional aniseeds because I don't like aniseed flavour, and about 1/3 of a teaspoonful of salt. And now I'm going to whiz this until it's like really thickly whipped double cream, and I really wish I had a stand mixer because this is going to take a while, probably about 15 to 20 minutes. So let me just work in some of that icing sugar first, so again it doesn't go everywhere. And I'm going to whiz this until it's like whipped double cream. Just about done. In old-fashioned technical terms, this is called ribbon stage because when you drag the whisk across, it leaves a ribbon imprint and then it slowly sinks back in. That actually only took about 10 minutes. Let's get rid of this. Now I'm going to add 500 grams of plain flour, and I'm going to add literally just a pinch of baking powder. And I'm going to stir this together to form a dough. I really wish I had a stand mixer at this point because it would save on some of the elbow grease. Anyway, we're going to do it the old-fashioned way. Phew, that was hard work. Right, I'm just going to grab a spatula. Scrape these bits off. Now we have to work relatively quickly because this dough will start to dry out quite quickly because it is very aerated. So you're working against the air in it, or rather working with it because it's exactly the air we want to dry out the outside of our cookies, but not too fast. Now while we're working with this, we're going to cover this because it does dry out quite quickly, like I said. Now I'm going to grab my kitchen scale and another bowl. Let's turn this on. And I'm just going to weigh 20-gram balls. Let's have a look. 11, 19.9, you know what, that will do. Let's cover this back up because while we're working with it, it's going to dry as air gets to it. I'm going to roll this up. Don't worry if a little tiny bit sticks there. It's fine. Doesn't have to be precise. And I'm just going to pop this in a separate bowl and of course cover it so that this doesn't dry out. We've kind of used up half of our dough to make the balls, so we're going to stop here for now because the more you uncover it, cover it, uncover it and cover it, the more it's going to dry out. So we're going to work with half at a time. And I'm going to bring over a lined baking tray. I've lined it with some non-stick baking paper, well, my reusable stuff. I've had this stuff for years, it washes very nicely. Now, like I said at the start of the video, I'm going to be using a mooncake mould. Ooh, that is very squeaky, to stamp these instead of rolling them and then stamping them and cutting them out. So what I'm going to do is I have a little bowl of plain flour here, just a bit of extra plain flour. I'm going to take a dough ball out of my little thing, cover it back up, give it a good dusting in flour. We'll just pop that there for a second. I'm also going to dust the insides of our mould with some flour just to make sure it gets in all the crevices, dump out the excess. Just going to do that. So our dough is now in the mould and I'm just going to plunge it down very firmly, pop it out. And we have a lovely biscuit. Let me just get rid of some of that excess that got chopped off there. And some of the extra that came off the sides. Lovely. And now we just have to keep doing this over and over again. Here are all of our little biscuits all together. Made about 58, well, exactly 58 all together. Some came out a little bit crisper than others. This mould was a little bit tricky because it had skinnier little divots in it. But not too bad overall. Right, now I am going to let this set overnight and hopefully the tops will be nice and crisp and dry, but the bottoms will still be a bit moist. It's the next day. In fact, it's been a total of 19 hours. I'm just going to pick one of these up to see if it's ready to bake. Let's choose this one because it's a bit scuffed, so if I ruin it, it doesn't matter. Ah yes, right, so let's not worry about that little bit sticking. I'll just get it off and tap it back on. As you can see, there is a line of dryness around the edge, and that is exactly what we want because these cookies aren't going to expand outwards, which is why I packed them quite densely. They're going to puff up from the bottom like macarons to create that little foot, and the outside is going to stay intact because it's dry. I'm going to put that back. Now let's sort the oven out. Now let's preheat the oven to 150 degrees C. Now traditionally you're meant to peel each biscuit off at this point and stamp the bottom on a bit of wet paper towel or a wet kitchen towel. This is supposed to let them evenly rise because when they dry, sometimes they dry a little bit patchy underneath, so you get little moist spots and little dry spots. I'm actually not going to bother. I'm just going to whack these straight in the oven and I'm going to bake them for about 15 to 20 minutes, just enough to dry the top. See you then. It's been 15 minutes on the dot and these are looking beautiful. I am so happy. Just one got a little bit lopsided. Well, a couple got a little bit lopsided. This one did quite a bit, but most of them absolutely perfect. And let me show you the feet. absolutely stunning. Right, these need to be left to cool down completely before we do anything else with them. And of course we need to bake our other batches. This was 15 minutes on the dot. I think I already said that. I'm just so excited, I'm repeating myself. Anyway, let's go. Now this next part is optional, but I like to give these a dusting off. So actually I'm about to make a lot of mess. Let me get a little bit of paper here. I'm going to take this. And I have a clean makeup brush that I use just for this kind of thing. I'm just going to give it a little brushing, and this is going to get rid of all that excess flour that we used to dust our biscuits. Now it's time for my favourite part, the painting. These are completely cool, dusted off. I've got a range of gel food colours here, and I've got one powder food colour here. This is gold luster dust, and a bunch of vodka, because this is going to be a painting medium. Don't worry about getting drunk, it's going to evaporate straight off. So I'm going to start with some leaves. Let's put some green gel colouring in here. That's quite a lot. Vodka. Now you don't want to use water because you're just going to make your biscuits soggy, and no one likes a soggy biscuit. Let's do the leaves. Super pretty. Right, we have quite a bit of painting to do, so I'll see you in a bit. Aren't these absolutely gorgeous? They kind of remind me of mahjong tiles because of the chunkiness and the shape, and the flowers of course. And you know what? Even the unpainted ones are super pretty, so you don't even really have to paint one. Now let's snap one open just to see the texture. This is so cute. Look at the foot. That is a perfect foot. You can see that slight edge where it dried to create a bit of a border where it pushed up from the baking tray. I'm going to take a bite. Cheers. Take a look at that inside. It is kind of like a macaron, only without the almonds. I love cardamom. The cardamom vanilla is so tasty. But like I said, use whatever flavourings and spices you like for this. I love that chewy, almost cakey texture and the crisp outside. So there you go, Springerle for spring. Thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed today's recipe video, and I hope you'll join me next Wednesday for my next one. Get the full written recipe on my blog tashacakes.com, follow me on Instagram, I'm tashacakes.taste, and find me on TikTok too, I'm tashacakes there too, but my handle is food in slow motion. Subscribe and hit the notification bell if you'd like to see more. Give this video a like if you liked it to help other people find it. Comment down below if you'd like me to make anything in particular, and I'll see you all next time. Be good, be nice, and have a good week. Who else is excited by The Devil Wears Prada 2? I really hope it's good.